Hi everyone, this is Maria, also known as Chat Noir on DeviantArt.com. I used to do a bunch of polymer clay tutorials and different items of polymer clay, and I still work with polymer clay, so I figured I'd show you some of my projects that I have. Something that I've been working a lot on recently, I've been getting a lot of orders for these, are the Wreck-It Ralph You're My Hero pendants. So you can see it's the You're My Hero, just like Vanellope's and Wreck-It Ralph. Everything's made out of polymer clay. Then on the back it says, To Stink Brain. These have been really popular. I was really surprised by how many people liked the Wreck-It Ralph You're My Hero pendants. This isn't my normal size. This one is just kind of like a random size I made because I had clay left over on hand. This is about 3 inches wide by 3 inches. My cosplay one's normally about 5 by 5, and then my normal ones are like 1 inch by like 1.5. So this is a little in between the two sizes I do. It's a little bigger than my tiny ones, and it's about 2 inches smaller than my cosplay ones. Something else I've been working on is this little figure here. I watched the Madoka Magica anime with my boyfriend, who was a big fan, and my favorite character was the witch Charlotte. So I made myself a little figure of Charlotte. She has a white base coat on her right now, so I can paint her colors in later. I wasn't going to sculpt her entirely out of the colored clay, because I just used scrap clay to make her. But she's really cute. She was my favorite character, and I tried to be as detailed as I could with her little vest and her buttons. And before I made this figure, I practiced by sculpting her face, and I just turned my little practice into a pendant kind of object. I don't really know what I'll do with it, but I figured I made it. Rather than mash it back up, I'll just bake it and make it into something. So, Charlotte's head and her little ruffle. And then inside here, I have a whole bunch of polymer clay stuff. Some of it you've seen on my website or on DeviantArt, and other stuff I haven't posted anywhere else. So this is just kind of like my box of random polymer clay stuff I've made. So, let's see. I'll start out with... I guess I'll start out with these. These are kind of silly. Okay, I've actually seen other people do these. I made these a while ago because I thought they were funny. I was like, who would ever want these? These are actually, they are meant to look like chewed bubblegum. It's actually scented like bubblegum as well. Now, they're made of polymer clay. It's not real gum. I didn't really chew it. But I thought it'd be funny to make bubblegum polymer clay. They're scented bubblegum because I was going to cosplay as Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time at a convention, but I never got the costume done in time. I originally planned to wear the costume and have bubblegum scented perfume so it would smell like bubblegum. But since the costume didn't work out, I used that to scent these. So these are actually scented like bubblegum. I was like, no one's ever going to want these. They were just something that made me laugh, so they sit in my box. Let's see, what else do I have? Let's see, I have... These two items are actually because I saw the movie Brave a while ago, so I made the little cursed tart. And then here is a little bear paw print. It's on like a wood grain polymer clay. I don't know if you're able to see that very well, but it's meant to be like a wood grain polymer clay. See, it's got a little bear paw. You can see the claws. I don't know if it'll focus. I don't think it will. It's a little hard. But so, I made those two because of Brave. I made them as like a little set. I never ended up really doing anything with them. They just, again, they're just kind of sitting here. Let's see, I use giant safety pins, like not giant, but larger safety pins. You can buy them at like Joann's or the craft store. And I use them to organize my charms. That way nothing goes missing. So if they're all the same kind of charm, they all stay together on the same safety pin. So these are little strawberry shortcake charms, little whipped cream and strawberries on top. But the pin keeps them all together. They can go in the box. They won't get lost. So I really like that. And then when I don't have a pin big enough, I just bend a piece of wire so that I can use it like a safety pin. So see, this opens and it closes. And this has all my little pumpkin pies. So all my little pumpkin pies are put together all in here. So they don't go wandering, they don't go missing. I have, let's see, here are little fruitcake charms. I tend to make little fruit cakes every winter. They have little fruits and nuts on top. But so, little fruits and nuts. I always say these are the fruit cakes you don't want to throw away. It's my little catch line for them. And I have a couple of flavored layer cakes, like these are raspberry. They have a little raspberry on top. They have the layer cake. I made a couple different flavors. They're all kind of similar, just different flavors. This was something interesting. I made my own 3D mold because I wanted to experiment with the Sculpting Mold Maker, which is a horrible, horrible mold maker. Worst mold medium I've ever tried. It's great extra plasticizer if you have tough to handle clay. Awful mold. So I experimented with it and I made this, so I used the mold to make it a three-dimensional object, which I'm pretty happy with the 3D aspect. That was interesting. You can still see the seams. I didn't press the seams as well as I should have. But it did retain some of the detailing. You can see a little bit of his little scales. It's like a taiyaki, like a fish pastry. It's usually filled with red bean. It's not normally savory. But so, I'm pretty happy. It's a little bulky, too bulky to be like an earring. I wouldn't hang this off an earring. I think it's too big. But it was an interesting experiment. It was a learning process, and I enjoyed that. Then when I make my sushi canes, if any of you have ever made sushi canes or followed my tutorial for making sushi canes, you know that you start out really big. So when the cane is really large, I tend to cut off the ends and I'll use them to make pendants or, ooh, I got that. Pendants, or I'll add findings. And see, this one has a finding at the top so you could actually wear it. These I just kind of make while they're large. Gives me an idea of what my cane looked like before I reduced it. And they're just kind of cute and neat to have around. Let's see. I also have these itty bitty, they're earrings. They're like little tiny cookies. Chocolate with icing. I also have a strawberry set. Little strawberry set in there. And those are tiny versions of, I made these first. I made these cookies, added icing around the borders. I'm not really sure what I'll put in the center of them. I didn't really think that through. I just kind of wanted to try to get back into the swing of making polymer clay things again. So I wanted to see how tiny I could make these, so that's how I ended up making the earrings. I wanted to see how small I could go. I like to try to challenge myself that way. These are, I don't think I've posted anything like this on DeviantArt. These were on Meiji Apollo. I do a food blog called Sometimes Foodie, and I actually got to try Meiji Apollo. And I thought they were so cute, I tried to mold some out of polymer clay, so that was one of my attempts. There's a couple others in here somewhere. Let's see, I have little present boxes, I have Halloween ones, and little Valentine's Day ones. I also made some Christmas ones for a commissioner. Someone requested I make a couple for, I think it was a Christmas swap or some sort of present exchange. This was an experiment. I wanted to try to see if I could make a teeny tiny jack-o'-lantern cookie, and I could. These are little spell books. I actually posted these on Etsy, I think. Little spell books. They have a little skull on the front, little pages, just a little spooky spell book. This was actually one of my cheeseburgers that I used to make these quite often. Cheeseburgers used to be pretty popular. They seem to have died down a little bit now. I thought about making a cheeseburger tutorial, but I never really got around to it. I want to try to make more tutorials now that I'm working with video. Video is a much easier medium than me editing a ton of photos and writing everything out. It's usually better to just actually act it out and have you actually see the process. What else do I have in here? I have some glittery bows. I was trying to make it look translucent like a gummy candy, like how they have sour tapes. This was when I was inspired by Wreck-It Ralph. I was making all these glittery candy objects. These were, I had a commission a while ago to make a maple bacon bar. This was one I made. I didn't really like how it turned out, so I made another one, which was sent to the commissioner. This is kind of one of my like fail charms. It just kind of sits in the box. I have a whole pile of pies. I have little, I used to work at Panera, and they had a caramel brownie. If some of you were Panera addicts, you might remember they had a caramel topped brownie. It is no longer made. They do not have that anymore. But when I worked there, I liked how it looked, so I made little tiny versions of it. I don't think that's ever seen DeviantArt or anything. I don't think I've ever posted that. Oop, dropped one. I have little key lime pies, which is my favorite actual pie. It's my pie of choice. Lemon meringue pie with a whip top. Teeny tiny little pecan pie with little tiny pecans. Each one's individually molded on the top using my own molds. Little cranberry top pie, really tiny. But yeah, lots and lots of pies and sweets. I kind of go with the pies and sweets. I also have a little tiny black and white cookie. Here are some cakes that I've posted on DeviantArt. This one was one of my first attempts at a Victorian sponge cake. Not too bad for a couple of years ago. This is what, like 4 or 5 years ago maybe? I don't know. Old. Then let's see. A couple cookies. A couple like experiments. I did watermelon charms a while ago, so I made a little watermelon slice. It looks more realistically textured. I don't think my camera is good enough to catch it. I need to get an HD camera, and this camera's not cutting it for me. Then I have these charm bracelets. I have a little camera one. It has little camera charms, little point and shoots, and little pearls. Ooh, nudge my camera. And then I have this one with different cookies. So I have a black and white cookie, a jam-filled cookie, a peanut butter cookie. These are also really old. I should probably try to revisit cookies and see if I can get that much better, because that's pretty rough looking back. And these are actually for my chocolate charm making tutorial. A whole bunch of chocolates. So I have, oops, I'm just dropping things left and right. So I have a whole bunch of little chocolates. Marshmallow cream filled, cherry cordial. This one's like a junior mint, has a little flowing mint filling out, hazelnut, a whole bunch of, they're all basically the same kind of idea, just different fillings. And you can find my tutorial on DeviantArt if you ever want to make one of those. Then I have a ton of candy apple charms. I went through a phase where these were selling quite a lot, so I made a bunch. And then they stopped selling. So I have a whole compartment just full of candy apple charms that didn't sell. And I guess I can show you these. This is a little red bean Mama Shiba. Mama Shiba. Mama Shiba is a mascot for a food company in Japan, specifically beans. And different beans, all different kinds, red beans, jelly beans, lima beans, all sorts of. In the commercial, a little Mama Shiba will pop out of whatever bean it may be, and we'll give you a random fact. Here's a Mama Shiba fact, like, Mama Shiba, did you know that New Jersey has the most diners of any other state in America? It's true. I live in New Jersey, and we have diners everywhere, and they're open 24 hours. Okay. And I think that's pretty much it. That's most of my little container here. There's a couple little odds and ends, but I won't bore you by showing you everything. I'll hope to be showing you some new stuff soon, and I'm also going to plan to show you a video of some of my really old stuff from when I first started making clay to show you where I started and where I've become now. Like, I wasn't always making this stuff. It always has a beginning somewhere. Alright, I'll look for you in the next video. Bye!